How we doing, Wisconsin fans? It is Tuesday. We are getting into the week, getting some Brewer baseball in. Tough loss last night. We're going to cover that one here. And we will also be looking a little bit more at the Badgers there against Georgia Southern and also cover what we are seeing with the Badgers right now. But this right here, this is Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. We're going to jump right into it here. We're going to get into the Brewers. Brewers lost 1-0 last night to the Cardinals, and I got worried about this Cardinals series. I told you guys a little bit while back. I said the Cardinals are a scary team. Why? The Cardinals always have the Brewers number. It doesn't matter if the Cardinals are struggling, if the Brewers are hot, if the Brewers are struggling, and the Cardinals. It doesn't matter. Any scenario you put it in, the Cardinals have the Brewers number. Adam Wainwright has the Brewers number, and last night we got our butts kicked by some 40-year-old dude who's on the verge of retirement. Got his 200th win last night, has been struggling all season long, 5-11, and the Brewers got him to 200 wins last night. A struggle on the offensive front for the Brewers. Couldn't produce in spots where they needed to. For this team, Freddie Peralta pitched a great game for the Brewers in this one. Freddie, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run given up in the game, and 6 strikeouts. You got to weather a home run from Freddie Peralta. Peralta's going to give him a home run. If you look throughout his starts, if you look throughout most of the Brewers' starting pitchers, they're going to give up a solo shot. They're going to give up a 2-run shot. You have to weather that storm if you're the offense for the Brewers. 1-0 was the finish in this one. The Brewers just could not string anything together, couldn't get the bats going. Looking at the lineup for the Brewers in this one, Frelick 2 for 4 on the night. William Contreras 1 for 3. Santana 0 for 4 night. Mark Canha 1 for 4. Adames 1 for 4. And Monasterio 1 for 1. Everybody else, a big fat 0 for Tellez. 2 strikeouts and 3 at-bats there. Donaldson 1 strikeout and 3 at-bats. Terang drew a walk, went 0 for 1 otherwise. And Tyrone Taylor 0 for 3 on the night. Not an impressive showing out of a team who's on the verge of clinching a playoff spot and winning their division. They on the verge. They got some games to go here. I'm not saying that they're right there, but they are on the verge of being able to clinch the postseason berth there as the NL Central winner, and they aren't doing much to help themselves right now. The magic number's low, and the ability for the Cubs to come back in this is starting to slim. But the Brewers can, if they leave a door open, if they leave any kind of crack in that door, the Cubs will find it. The Cubs will find that crack and they will slither right in like they do. And that last series at American Family Field will be for all the marbles. I thought it was going to be anyways. The Brewers, the Redbirds from St. Louis always have the Brewers number, and we got 6 more games after last night against the Redbirds. We need to pick it up right now. This needs to change going into tonight's game. Otherwise, if you go down 2 games in this series, the Cardinals take this series, say 3 games out of 4, that sets up for a bad run there because then you have the Marlins again. You have to go down to Miami for that series. So you have the Marlins. Then you have to play the Redbirds one more time before you get the Cubs. So you are setting yourself up in a very bad spot because when you play the Cubs and you play the Marlins, those are 2 teams in the wild card hunt who are going to be gunning for you. The Cubs in that final series could be gunning for that NL Central crown. So you do not want to mess with that kind of stuff. You want to take care of business right now. And it starts with the Cardinals. And this offense did not show in this game. We need to win this game. Is it a must-win? If you really look at it, is it a must-win? No. It is not a must-win for the Brewers. But if you look at it, the wide spectrum of things, this was a must-win game. To start out the series in St. Louis against Adam Wainwright, this was the statement game. Go down to St. Louis, to Busch Stadium, put up a dominant performance there, even a 2-1 finish in this one, just to show we're down here. We still mean business. You guys are still the bottom feeders of this division. Bottom feeders seem to have the Brewers number. We have a decent record against these above 500 teams in the wild card hunt. Teams like, we went down to Texas when the Rangers were still rolling and swept the Rangers right out of town. And yet against the Cardinals, a team who's been on the bottom all season long, we take a 1-0 loss at Busch Stadium. The offense cannot muster up anything to help out Freddie Peralta. When do we start feeling bad for the pitching staff for the Brewers? You look at Corbin Burns against the Yankees, took a no-hitter into the 8th or into the 9th. Didn't get to pitch that ninth, but took it all the way. No run support. Freddie Peralta tonight, no run support. I mean, Corbin Burns doesn't get much run support anyways. When do we start to feel bad for these pitchers? I mean, I'm starting to feel bad for him. Freddie Peralta did not deserve to lose this ball game tonight. I mean, a 1-0 finish, one bad pitch he threw in this ball game, and it was the difference. To Contreras. I mean, Contreras always had the Brewers' number, but it just sucks. It really does suck. Anything but saying it doesn't suck is something else, because people will go out there and they'll defend the Brewer. Oh, wow, this is just one game. It's just one game. Yeah, I agree. It's one game. It's one game. It's not. You can't overreact to it. But this has been an all-season thing for the Brewers. We have these stretches where our offense goes hot. Couple games. Look at the National Series. First 2 games of the series, the offense was there. They were clicking. They were hitting. Look at the last game of that series. The offense struggled. Now leading into Busch Stadium here, game 1. Your offense carried over that struggle from yesterday, or from 2 days ago, Sunday, to Monday night. Does this offense pick it up into Tuesday, or is it going to be another blunder on the offensive front there for the Brewers? That's the question the Brewers need to answer. They need to sit down in the clubhouse and today get in the cages, get out on the field, and they need to figure out something to be able to produce runs, because last night was not it for this Brewers team. Day before wasn't it. Is this a cold spell the Brewers are getting on right now? Because this is a terrible time to jump into that cold spell if you are the Brewers. But in this one, like I said, the Cardinals were held in check. I mean, besides that Contreras home run there, Walker had a hit, Edman had a hit, Wynn had a hit for him, and Burleson had a hit. You held Goldschmidt down. You held down Arenado in this one. You held down the big bats for the Cardinals. You didn't. The pitching was fine in this one. You look at the Brewers. I didn't even cover the bullpen there, but Uribe came in for an inning there, 2 strikeouts. Wilson came in, gave up a hit in an inning pitch. Nothing across the board for him. 1 run was all the Brewers had to get in this one to at least push extra innings, at least get to that bullpen a little bit more for the Cardinals. You look at the Cardinals pitching staff in this one. Wainwright, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. You look at his record on the season there, 5-11 with a 7.40 ERA, and we just got shut out by Adam Wainwright and this Cardinals team. A team with a struggling pitching staff, a struggling bullpen, and we just got shut out by them. That's what I want people to really keen in on in this one, was the struggle all around from the Brewer team there on the offensive front in this one. King came in out of the bullpen there for the Cardinals, 2/3 of an innings, 2 hits, and nothing across the board otherwise. And then Halsey came in an inning and a third and 2 strikeouts in this one. So Cardinals bullpen, Wainwright pitched great against the Brewers. Brewers did not have an answer in this one. Something about 42-year-old guys. I know for a fact if Rich Hill was pitching, the Brewers couldn't hit him either. 70-mile-per-hour curveball is just impossible at the big league level to take care of. Adam Wainwright, velocity isn't there. He's still got the movement, but looking at the season stats for Adam Wainwright, he's hittable. And the Brewers proved in this one, Adam Wainwright could still go for the Cy Young. If he faced the Brewers all season long, he'd be a Cy Young candidate. But thank God that he doesn't. But that's where I'm looking at with this Brewer team right now, is just the struggle of the offense and where they can address that right now. With it right now, I mean, you have your bats that you can work with are on the field right now. Frelick, he's at that leadoff spot, 2 for 4 night. He's one of your most consistent hitters, along with Contreras, 1 for 3. Canna was in the lineup last night, 1 for 4. Those are your most consistent guys right there. Monasterio came in as a pinch hitter late. Don't understand why Josh Donaldson got the start at third over Monasterio. What brings the Brewers to the point where they say Monasterio needs to sit? We need to get Josh Donaldson here because Donaldson is that much better a bat. He's not. Josh Donaldson is not a better bat than what Monasterio brings to the party. Monasterio is a great hitter. He's a great contact hitter. He goes through struggles. Everybody goes through struggles. Even the best of the best goes through some struggles here and there. But Monasterio has been a consistent bat for the Brewers all season long, or well, ever since he got called up to the Brewers team. That's why he stayed in there. That's why Brian Anderson didn't get his job back. And yet, we sat him tonight. We started Donaldson instead. Donaldson with the offer. We brought in Monasterio late, came up with a hit for this Brewers team. And it's not that he came in late and came up with a hit. but it's the fact of Donaldson is not a better bat for the Brewers right now than what Andrew Monasterio brings to this team. And that's where I just don't understand. In these games where it seemed like last night was to me, was a we need this game. We need to set a statement here at Busch Stadium. We just came off a loss yesterday against the Nationals. We need this game tonight. I'm throwing my best lineup out there. That includes Andrew Monasterio in there. And I don't know if it includes Josh Donaldson or Rowdy Tellez. Flip the coin. Because either one of those guys, they give me about the same thing. Rowdy Tellez, Josh Donaldson, I expect the same out of both of them. They're going to have their strikeouts. They're going to have their 0 for nights, and that's what we saw last night. But Monasterio needs to be in there. With that, though, I did see an update on Christian Yelich, and they are looking at tomorrow. Prior to the game, they're going to make a decision on Yelich, whether to put him on the 10-day injured list because of back stiffness, or if they're going to just ride it out even longer. I don't know why this has been so long. We waited for this. He came back for a game. It's still giving him issues. Why are we waiting so long with this? The only thing that I can think is that we are waiting for Garrett Mitchell. Because if Mitchell, he's got right now, I was just looking at it just before. Right now, Garrett Mitchell, he in 11 at-bats, 2 hits right now in those 11 at-bats, 3 games played. The only thing I could think is they were waiting on the guy to call up, and they were waiting to see if Garrett Mitchell was going to be ready. From what I've seen so far, he's putting the ball in play. Down there right now, he's got 4 strikeouts in those 11 at-bats, 2 hits. Not the greatest of numbers, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He's been getting on base. He's got a 182 average right now, small sample size. But do you bring back Garrett Mitchell right now to this Brewers team? Would it hurt? I don't think it's going to hurt any more than having a guy like Joey Wiemer was to this Brewers team. Having a guy like Brian Anderson who's just sitting on the bench doing absolutely nothing for this Brewers team. Or having a guy like Christian Yelich who is going to be out for what we've seen now is all of a week, and if not more, sitting on your bench just taking up a roster spot. Why not bring up Garrett Mitchell and just see what he does? I mean, if we're going to wait until tomorrow, he's going to have a little bit more here. Maybe we just test it. Maybe we bring up Garrett Mitchell. Maybe we get him into the clubhouse, get him some at-bats on the field there, and then we test the waters. Maybe we throw him in there out in right field, out in center field, wherever we want to throw him, and then just see from there what we think could happen. I don't know. That's just where I'm at right now with the whole situation. Is who else do you really think to call up besides maybe a guy like Abraham Toro? Or if you're looking, I still believe deep down he's got 1 or 2 clutch at bats left, and that's Castanera. It's craziness, I know, but he's a AAA hitter. I completely agree when people say he's a AAA hitter, but a 308 average down there at AAA right now for Nashville. Last time I looked, 308. I don't know if it went up, if it went down. Still sitting at that 308 average. So if I'm looking at it right now, some viable guys to call up to this roster. Abraham Toro hitting 291 down in AAA. Keston here hitting 308. And then you also have the option of Garrett Mitchell if you want to play that card. I think Abraham Toro should be up on the big league roster no matter what. He's hitting down in AAA. He hit up at the big league level. There's no reason why he's sitting down in AAA right now. Put him up for Brian Anderson. You're not going to give Brian Anderson a shot anyways. Maybe bring Abraham Toro into this fold. Maybe he is a key to getting this offense going because he had some good at-bats for the Brewer team early on in the season. They just never gave him a shot after that. He was hitting when we went to play the Braves down in Atlanta. He was hitting, and we just did not give him consistent at-bats and then automatically just flipped the switch and sent him back down. He could be a consistent hitter for this Brewers team down the stretch. But also, between Garrett Mitchell and Abraham Toro, I don't think they're going to mess with Keston here. I really don't. But between Toro and Garrett Mitchell, I think those would be viable guys to call up to this Brewers team to take the place of Christian Yelich for a little bit here. And then you have a decision to make when Yelich is coming back off the injured list. Do you send down like a guy like Brian Anderson, just get him out of there and then bring in one of these other guys? I hate to see Brian Anderson go, but he's not doing anything for you right now. Maybe Abraham Toro or Garrett Mitchell could come up to the big league roster at some point. In other Brewer news, Jackson Churro was called up to AAA Nashville to end the season here. So big moves by the Brewers, the number one prospect coming up to AAA. Get some at bats up there. Get ready for next year, where he's probably going to start there at the AAA level, and then who knows? Maybe whatever happens with the Brewers, maybe we see a guy like Jackson Churro next year. Maybe he's not ready yet. Looking at what I saw in the AA stats right now, his plate discipline and his strikeout rate is alarmingly high. Looking down at the AA stats for the season, 103 strikeouts to 41 walks. He did carry that 280 average, though. Average checks out, strikeout rate is high. So I compare a guy like Jackson Churro with the high strikeout rate, and people will come after me for this one because they're like, oh, how could you compare him to that? Guess an era. I cannot. And when you look at those two guys and you look at minor league stats, oh, minor league, minor league, minor league. Everybody says the minor leagues are different than the big leagues. Yes, they are. They are completely different. But if you can hit at the major league level, you can hit at the minor league level, but not vice versa. It sometimes doesn't carry over. Keston Hiura, very good AAA hitter, like we've seen. Now you look at the AA, where Jackson Churro has 103 strikeouts. Keston Hiura up at the AAA level, 90 strikeouts, a 308 average, high strikeout. The problem with Keston Hiura in the big leagues, high strikeout. Jackson Churro is carrying that high strikeout into AAA now. Can they get him a little bit more plate discipline and the ability to just put the ball in play when he's up at the plate and just use his legs up there? That's what I think is going to be the key to Jackson Churro, is can they figure that aspect of his game out, because the strikeout rate is alarming and people will get ticked off with the strikeout rate for Jackson Churro at some point. Maybe, and I think they can fix him. I'm not saying he's a complete bust, but he's nothing different than what Keston Hiura is doing at the AAA level for you right now. Everybody's so high up on a guy like Jackson Churro, but yet they don't look at that stat. They don't see the strikeout stat. They see the number one prospect. They see the home runs. They see the speed from Jackson Churro, but they don't see the they see the average, but they don't see the strikeout rate. The strikeout rate's high. Can Jackson Churro fix that? That's going to be the difference between, can he jump to the big league level right away at early on next season? Do they wait with him? Maybe he's a late September call up for him. That's what I think Jackson Churro's fate in getting up to the big league level is going to ride on. But with that, that is about all I have for Brewer news. Oh, I did just want to jump into the Mark Canha trade right now, because I was not as high on Mark Canha when the Brewers originally got him. I am getting there with him. I think he was a great acquisition for the Brewers now. And then looking at him since the trade to the Brewers, and this was through 39 games. It has changed, but this was through 39 games. A 319 batting average, 404 on base percentage, slugging percentage at 481, and an OPS of 885. That is some impressive stats right there. That is a guy who needs to be in the lineup every day for the Brewers as long as we can keep him in there. Wherever we got to put him, first base, outfield, DH, whatever we got to do, that's where he has got to be for this Brewer team down the stretch. But with that, I just want to jump around fly around the league real quick and just see what's going on. Right now, looking at last night, some games that would potentially affect the Brewers. The Reds beat the Twins 7-3. The Mets beat the Marlins 2-1. The Phillies beat the Braves 7-1. The Braves scuffling right now. They're scuffling a little bit heading into the playoffs. Maybe gives the Brewers a little bit of light there. And well, that is about it for games that really affected the Brewers wise, potentially, if they get dropped into a wild card, if they start to struggle. I don't think it's going to happen. I still believe that the Brewers are going to win the NL Central here, but got to watch that wild card picture and see if the Brewers are actually going to be in it. Cubs did not have a game last night. They're going to play in a night game tonight. They're going to have the Pirates for a 6:40 start. So watching that Cubbies there, seeing if the Brewers can get some help from the Pirates. The D-backs and Giants will start a series there, 8:40 start. Looking around the National League there, Phillies and Braves will continue their series, 6:20 start there. And let's see, Mets and Marlins, 5:40 start. And the Reds will have a 5:40 start against the Twins. So a couple games there that could potentially affect the Brewers down the stretch. But looking at it now, I just want to jump into some Badger talk and looking at this last game and kind of just seeing what we start and what what we saw was a slow start from the Badgers, and it's been consistent now for this Badger team, slow starts. And we listened to what Luke Fickle had to say, and he's preaching about this complementary football. We're trying to make it all work. We're trying to make it all happen together, and it hasn't been consistent. There hasn't been consistency to this complementary football that he is talking about. And you look at what some of the linemen said after that first game against Georgia Southern. They said it took them a while to get settled in against Georgia Southern's blitz. Well, the we're getting ready moment should be practice. We should have seen a little bit of what Georgia Southern can do, what they're going to have. Preparation to these games it looks like I said a while back there when they played Buffalo, it's like they weren't ready for Buffalo. It's like they weren't ready for Washington State. It's like they weren't ready for a Georgia Southern team that isn't even close to what a Power 5 team looks like, and they weren't ready for it. The slow starts aren't going to work for this Badger team come this week when they have to play a team like Purdue. You can't weather a slow unless if your defense somehow really picks it up, because looking at what Georgia Southern did, they attacked that secondary from Wisconsin, and they were attacking it well. They had a lot of wide open routes, a lot of balls that could have been, if they were thrown a little bit better, could have went for more yards than what they did. And these teams that are watching this, watching film and preparing for these games like Purdue, and then leading up into a couple other games there like Indiana and Illinois. I can't remember the schedule off the top of my head here, but they're watching the Badgers and they see what's going on with them right now. And they're like, okay, we know their secondary struggles. We're going to jump all over that. We're going to throw the ball around. Can the defense step up? Can that secondary step up for Wisconsin and shut that down before it gets started? Because the front seven for Wisconsin, they played a decent game against Georgia Southern. But the back half of it, that secondary, the secondary needs a lot of work. Can the defense weather the storm for this offense that seems to have really slow starts? Can they keep this Purdue team at bay until the Wisconsin offense picks it up? I don't know if they can. And that's where I look at guys like Braylon Allen. His usage against Georgia Southern didn't really come until that second half. In the second half there, the Braylon Allen, it was the Braylon Allen show, started running all over him, and that's what was the difference in this one. So looking at that, moving forward for the Badgers, complementary football is going to have to go out the door at some point here. We're going to have to go back to, and this is just watching it so far, Tanner Mordecai is not the all special quarterback that I thought he was going to be coming to Wisconsin. I really had higher hopes for Tanner Mordecai, but I just don't think he is that guy. The dude that we were expecting him to be. I know, crazy. I didn't expect it. We got so excited, so hyped up for him coming to Madison, and it felt like a letdown, honestly. So going forward here, we're going to have to play Wisconsin offense like we're running with the Graham Mertz quarterback, like we're running with some of these latest quarterbacks we've had, Alex Hornerbrook, guys like that, Jack Cohn. They can throw the ball a little bit. Graham Mertz could throw the ball a little bit, but he's going to make mistakes. And can you weather the mistakes for Graham Mertz? Can the run game get started that we don't have to worry about the pass game so much, and we can open up the field for these receivers? The Wisconsin wide receiver room's got some playmakers in it. Shimmer, DK, Pauling, looking at guys even like Williams. They have playmakers there on this Badger team. It's just a matter, can you get it to them? Can we make the throws? Can we open up the defense and allow a little bit more for Tanner Mordecai to throw to, get him calmed down in the pocket there? And can the offensive line hold up against Purdue and against some of these better Big Ten defenses? You're going to have a test there. Iowa always brings a great defense, and it's usually a defensive battle with Wisconsin. Can Wisconsin's defense step up to the plate there? With Iowa's offense is scoring a little bit more this year, so you're going to have to play some hard-nosed defense in that one. Can the Badgers weather that one and take care of it there? Looking at which side of the ball, I'm more worried about right now, I would say the defensive side of the ball right now for Wisconsin. The offense worries me a lot. I will say that they both worry me. The defensive part of it is the one that worries me the most because with Wisconsin, as we've seen throughout the years, Wisconsin's defense is what holds them in games. Jimmy Leonard always had, I mean, I can't, I got to just put a side note on there. I can't tell you how many times I heard sitting in Camp Randall, how many times I heard throughout the crowd people yell, "Where's Jim Leonard? Where's Leonard? Where is Leonard? We want Leonard back." I mean, it was just all over the place. But the defense really worries me because of the the secondary for Wisconsin just doesn't seem like they have it. They don't. They're always a step behind. They're out of the play. They don't understand it. I think Wohler is a great safety for the Badgers. I think Wohler is actually the main focus on this defense. But around that, the struggle is there for this Wisconsin team. I don't believe that the secondary has what it takes to keep up with some of these teams in the Big Ten. Now that can improve. I can't. I'm not going to say that can't improve throughout the season. That comes a lot from coaching too. Tressel needs to draw up these plays a little bit. You watch Jim Leonard; he can make an average defense look great. Jim Leonard put schemes together that just took teams out of games. Tressel's not doing that for this Badger team. You look at what Bortolini said about the Georgia Southern. They had these blitz packages that the Badgers weren't ready for. It looked like every package that the Badgers threw at Georgia Southern early there in that game, even heading into the second half, the Georgia Southern team was ready for. They were ready for the packages coming in there. And that's where my worry is with Wisconsin is on the coaching front, what is going on with these coaches? Tressel, Longo, how are they calling these plays? Because I'm not seeing the productivity out of either side of the ball right now for the Badgers. And the looking at like games like Iowa, Ohio State, their defenses are stout. The Wisconsin offense is going to have to play a little, but the defense for Wisconsin is going to have to hold their own against teams like Ohio State, against teams like Iowa. Can you shut down these? You're going to start playing a little bit better receivers. You're going to start playing a little bit highly recruited quarterbacks, receivers, offensive linemen, tight ends. You're going to face it all. Can the Wisconsin defense? Because what we've seen against not so upper level college players is a struggle. So are they going to be even more behind what we're seeing there? Can the coaching staff get this team ready down the stretch here? I don't know. Right now with this Badger team, I am concerned both sides of the ball and what they're going to do there. And I don't know if this season is a wash. I hate to say seasons are a wash. I really do. I hate to say they're a wash just as they're getting started, but it's leading towards that kind of belief right now in my head is that this season it's just like wipe your hands clean. We're hoping next season to get the transfer portal again. Maybe we up the defense a little bit. That's where I'm sitting right now with this Badger team is that I'm on the verge of wiping my hands clean and just saying, okay, I'm ready for Badger basketball now. This has been enough. This has been enough of this. I've seen some struggling Wisconsin football teams. Usually on the offensive side, the defense is usually pretty darn good. The offensive line is pretty darn good. We just struggle at quarterback. Right now, it's an all around struggle for this Wisconsin Badger team. And can the coaching staff for Wisconsin figure this one out? That is what we're going to wait and see. But with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast today, talking a little bit of Brewers, talking a little bit of Badgers here. Tonight, check out the Brewers 6:45 start there against the Cardinals. Rom is going for the Cardinals. No pitcher has been decided for the Brewers yet. Colin Ray was recalled, so maybe a Colin Ray spot start here. Not sure what's going to be the decision from Craig Counsell. We just saw Freddie. Wade Miley could be an option in there. He's going to try to separate this pitching staff a little bit there, set it up because they are in a big stretch of games right now. He's trying to separate the pitching staff out to give them rest. But with that, 6:45 start against the Cardinals here tonight, hoping for a Brewers win. But I just want to say thank you guys for listening again to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. It has been fun talking to you guys. Hopefully I will catch you guys tomorrow. Deuces, Brew Crew.